Just a couple reminders. Payroll needs to be called in by 10 a.m. on Monday. You can call in at any point, leave a message on your payroll representative's voicemail box, either with the hours worked or for salaried associates, the number of days worked. You can call that in, again, anytime between Saturday night and Monday morning by 10 a.m. Please make sure that the mail, post office has been notified of the forwarding address to the Ames Home Office, 2418 Main Street, Rocky Hill, Connecticut, 06067. Once again, when leaving the building, set the perimeter alarms, bypass the motion. This will help reduce the number of false alarms after we vacate. Interior lights should be shut off by the breaker, leaving only a few night lights on scattered around the sales floor. The vacate checklist, notate anything that is left from the fixture liquidator, such as any telephone equipment or ticketing equipment. If they haven't sold it, it will be left where it is. The main thing with all of the fixtures and anything that has not sold is that it is left in the building neatly. Once again, the final vacate checklist, the photos, stamps should be forwarded to my attention and mailed by Tuesday, November 12th. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody for all their help and cooperation over the past few months, and I wish everybody the very best of luck in the future.
It's so sad to see lots of stores we love and grew up with sadly shut down. I know that was a weird introduction, but that just shows you how sad it is to see recordings and what remains of stores that we once loved shut down. However, sometimes stores that have shut down and went out of business sometimes return. Either they return as brand new stores with new names but sell similar products, or they actually make a full comeback. In today's video, we'll be doing just that. We'll be talking about the stores that are rumored to come back. Yeah, I've been dreading to make this video for quite a while right now. I have been. Hopefully the audio, of that video is not too bad, but I really wanted to show off that because, because Ames, like many other stores, have gone out of business, but I figured, that just shows you that, it's really nice to have, some recordings, of this stuff. To have memories. But like I said, some of these stores will, either have come back or are rumored to come back. And I want to talk about that in today's video. Hey, I'm Dashiell Rose. Welcome back to another video. Welcome back. Before I get started in today's video, you guys know the drill. Please subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell. And you guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Over there, I am at, that's where I help you guys keep up with some, some stuff. Sometimes I'll post over there and all that. And, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. So like I said before, it's not very uncommon, to have, stores go out of business. Unfortunately, a lot of things don't last forever, and that goes with stores too. However, people do, do recordings and all of that, like I showed the Ames off, I showed the AIM store off because apparently that was a very popular chain and all that. And, you know, people use that to, you know, talk about their memories and all that and showcase it. But I'll be getting more into that at the end of the video. But for right now, I do want to talk about some stores that are rumored to return. Now, I do have some rules for this video. These are only stores, so no restaurants. No restaurants, just stores. Just stores. You know, so there's just going to be stores. So I know some people, you know, count fast food places as, you know, people count fast food places as, you know, stores. But I prefer to call them as, you know, fast food places. Because although you shop there and buy stuff, you don't actually, like, you know, buy and leave. You actually sit there and eat. I mean, I guess these stores, you do the same thing at the food department and all that, but you pretty much just go there to buy something and leave. And second, this video will be on stores that actually either have been rumored to come back or are actually coming back. So unfortunately, guys, sorry, no Blockbuster. Even though people are having theories, including myself, that it might return. Because I do think it might return, because they're actually opening a restaurant and all that up. That's what I've heard and all that. So they might start opening stores back up, I don't know. But due to it being the last Blockbuster store, I don't know if they will, because, you know, they're trying to, like, keep the name like that. I don't know. But, you know, as for right now, it is not confirmed to be coming back. And, you know, and all that. So these will be stores that either have been confirmed to come back or are rumored to come back or are actually coming back. You know, so, like, you know, opening stores back up. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and actually get into the video. First up, the rumor is that Toys R Us is coming back. Now, this is actually, the first one on the list, this is actually not a rumor. This is actually confirmed, because, they're already opening some back up. They have some, like, mini parts with Macy's and all that in there, and although those Toys R Us are not really like the toy stores we once knew, they are, you know, they are, like, you know, they are part of the Toys R Us brand. And there's actually some sightings of some that have been opening stores back up in malls and all that. So they are coming back. Now, I don't think they'll probably come back as big as they once did. Now, Toys R Us, I don't know exactly the history of why they failed. Part of it could be that they were kind of expensive. You know, that could be part of the reason they were kind of expensive. Because they were a little bit more pricey than other stores. I mean, I went to a Toys R Us in Columbia and all that when it was still open. And, yeah, I didn't always buy something going there. But there were times where I bought stuff there because I couldn't find it anywhere else. That said, though, I'm pretty sure Amazon probably did not help with it. You know, Amazon probably, you know, put Toys R Us out of business as well. But they were in decline for years before Amazon even got big. You know, so they've been declining for a long time. Because even in the early 2000s, I think Amazon was starting to become an online company. But they were still kind of small. You know, so Toys R Us, you know, was one of those stores that I said was struggling. They were struggling to stay open. They also had like 3 different stores that had Babies R Us and Kids R Us, which I didn't think about when I was making the video, but I'm like, you know, that's pretty much part of the brand anyway, so yeah, they are starting to open stores back up, and actually in Canada, they have stores, so they closed all the U.S. stores out, but in Canada, they kind of kept them open. I don't know if there was any stores that remained in the U.S. or not. That I'm not sure. You know, because because there is the Mall of America and all that, like, which I heard that store was around, but I don't know if they actually, closed that one too down or not and reopened it or not, but I do know they were one of the stores that came back, because right after, they went bankrupt, they actually closed them all down, and then they started back up from the ground. Now, some people are upset because, of the way the employees were treated and all of that kind of stuff, but I don't know the entire story, but, it's not like it's the only company that has done that. Actually, there is a company on the list that kind of did something like this, which I'll be talking about as well. But, for Toys R Us, I don't know, I'm actually kind of looking forward to it coming back. I hope, though, it's cheaper than what it was before. That said, though, people are like, well, you can just get the stuff on Amazon. And I'm like, yeah, you can, but the problem is there are people online starting to charge people money and all that. Like, there's a SpongeBob Uno game. It's a SpongeBob Uno game I got from Amazon, or not Amazon, into Toys R Us, back when it was open. I got it for, Christmas one year. Apparently, it's a Toys R Us exclusive. Now, they do sell it on Amazon and eBay. The problem is they freaking rip you off because Amazon was kind of at first, selling their own stuff, but now it feels like they're starting to make other people sell stuff, so yeah, I'd rather not have to go online to buy something rare like that when I could just go to, a Toys R Us store or something. I'm not saying they'll probably have it there, but that's the thing, though. Toys R Us did have exclusive stuff like that, so, yeah, I don't know, I kind of want them to come back, I feel like there was just something, more unique about them compared to other stores, they were just a lot more, it was a toy store, where, we got, Walmart and Target, which was just, a store that sold a little bit of everything. This store sold, everything, I mean, it sold toys and games and all that, which was kind of cool. But yeah, there are, like I said, there are sightings of them coming back. I just don't know how big they'll be, because, they once had several stores across the U.S. I don't think they'll probably be like that again, but I wouldn't mind a Toys R Us opening in our mall or something. Our mall sure needs that, because our mall's kind of not doing very good, but that's also partly because of the management, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, and by our mall, I'm talking about the Capital Jefferson City Mall. I'm talking about not the Columbia one. The Columbia Mall is actually doing pretty good, but I don't know. But that's pretty much all I have to say about that. So let's go ahead and talk about the next one. Next up is Ames. Speaking of Ames, I was talking about Ames and all that. I was showing that recording and all that. That's one of the very rare recordings I could find of Ames when it was still in business. That's why I decided to make my introduction with that, because other people do it too. But also because, that's one of the very few recordings. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that have recorded it. I have found, recordings that people have done, a McDonald's, there's these people that have visited this McDonald's when they were in the 1980s, and then they revisited it again when they went to revisit the McDonald's again several years later. That was kind of a cool little video they did. So there are people out there that have recorded it, even Kmart. I found videos of Kmart and Walmart. Ames is kind of a little bit, I don't know, I seem to not be finding as many videos of Ames. But also, Ames has struggled. Ames, actually went bankrupt and closed all their stores out of 2002. Where, stores like Kmart and Walmart were big at the time and well known. So there's a lot more videos of those stores. Ames, on the other hand, like I said, were already struggling, and then they closed all their stores down. in 2002. And I think part of it was because they got greedy and kept buying, all these stores and then put their brand into debt. And that's how they went out of business, That's the thing with a company. That's why you don't want to, go out there and buy a bunch of stuff, Like, it's okay to buy some stuff when you go on a money sprint like this. You can put the company in huge debt, and that's the problem. But that's the problem, though. But yeah, I don't know. But that's the thing, though. But yeah, they went bankrupt forever ago, and then sadly, like I said, because they went bankrupt so long ago, this is before YouTube was a thing. They like, there's not really any videos of it, I mean, like I said, there's probably some, but like not as well-known videos, because they went bankrupt, but there are rumors that they are coming back, they are coming back, so there's talk that they're gonna come back in 2026. So what happened was, apparently, I don't know, I think they were gonna start opening stores, I think in 2024 or 2025, but due to kind of, there has been some problems with, money and all that, like I've talked about before, like, the pricing and all that, like, people are kind of worried about the tariffs and all that, but I'm like, yeah, I mean, like, why are the tariffs even going around anymore? I don't even know. I don't hear people talking about it, but I do know that was a thing. But before that, like, a box of cereal was like $7, and milk was like going to $5. I mean, milk's still expensive, but like, it's going down in price. And because Ames technically is a store that, sells a little bit of everything, like, they were basically kind of like the Kmart and, Target and Walmart of the times. I mean, I should say, because Kmart's technically not really around anymore. Kmart's not completely dead, because it is popular in Australia and, New Zealand and all that, but like, in America, the Kmart's almost gone. There's like one store left in Florida, and it doesn't look very good. It looks like it's not gonna make it either, but I'm gonna try to go down there and actually go to it, but that might be a little while. I don't know if I'll make it down there in time. I'll try, but we'll just have to see. But yeah, I don't know, but that's the thing, though. Like I said, Ames is just like Ames is, like I said, they're like, basically, they were like a retail store that sold like a little bit of everything, kind of like the other stores. Even the recording kind of showed that, which I kind of forgot about that, but yeah, that's what they were kind of were. But like I said, they sadly went out of business and closed their stores up, but there has been rumors that they are coming back. They're going to start opening up more stores. I don't know where these stores will be at. I don't know, like, where they'll be opening them up at, but there's talk that I think they're gonna open at least, I think, like 30 something of them, but like, they're gonna be like, they'll open a couple up, I think, in like 2026, and then, start opening more up in 2027. So if everything goes good, maybe they'll come back again. I just don't know how well they'll do. Like, that's the thing, though. I think, though, compared to Toys R Us, though, I don't know. I mean, Toys R Us, though, I think can also do very well, but I just think Ames, I think it's just like a better, like, Ames will just do a bit better, possibly, because, well, the problem is Ames is not as well known as a name as Toys R Us, but Ames also, can start selling stuff, because we need competition, like, because Walmart and Target's all we really have left, as those kind of places. Now, there are other stores you can go to besides them, but, like, for, like, places to get a lot of stuff, like, all at once, those are the only two major, competition. And, Target, what I could hear, Target's not doing the best. Now, I will say Target in Columbia is doing really well. I've gone in there, my mom and I have gone in there before, and in the Columbia, mall, and it is freaking packed in there. Especially when the college kids get out of school, it's fucking packed in there. There are people everywhere in there. The one in Jeffville, it's doing good, but not as good as it should. But I'm sure that probably helps that the Walmart across the street is absolute dog crap at times. It's not I'll say the Walmart across the street, it's not horrible. I do shop there sometimes, but the freaking the problem is the problem is with Walmart is I've had some problems with the store and all that. The floors are all kind of nasty, or there's crap all over the place, and and then we've got I don't know if Target still does this, but I know Walmart apparently no longer makes keys. I'm sorry, but Walmart used to be well known for that. Apparently Walmart doesn't make freaking keys anymore, so I don't know, it's just kind of I could go to Menards and all that too, which is good, but I'm just that just kind of proves my point. Walmart's kind of falling downhill, but that's the problem. That's why they need competition, and I feel like Ames could be competition. We do have the dollar stores like Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, and Dollar General. We have those. But again, those are also very small stores, so they're not like Ames. They're not super big, And even Dollar General and all that, it's not really the best either. And then Family Dollar is not everywhere, but Dollar General definitely has been declining too. I actually need to do a re-review on that. I talked about that kind of stuff when I was doing a Chuck E. Cheese review, but I'll get to that later. But I don't know, but I will say I definitely am looking forward to Ames coming back, because I've never been to an Ames store because they pretty much were all out of business, when I was really little, and none of my family members, been to one, so apparently they were already in decline. I figured it'd be some in St. Louis or something, because St. Louis, was kind of where a lot of the stores kind of lasted and all that too, but I don't know. But yeah, I am looking forward to this one coming back. But I think I've talked enough about this, so let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Next up is Party City. Now, despite some of the problems I had with my final visit to Party City, I talked about that that the people there were threatening me and all that, and accusing me of recording somebody, which, by the way, I talked about in my video that I never recorded any teenager in there, and I think they were just saying that to kick me out of the store, but even then, they had no reason to threaten me. They could have just told me to leave, Even my mom was like that, she's she was to agree with what they said either. But yeah, so what happened with Party City is I don't know if I brought this up, but I did talk about my story with it, but I was recording it because they were going out of business, and I decided to record the balloon effects. That must be how they caught me doing it, but still, there was nobody in the store as it is, and which kind of surprises me how they went out of, how they sold all their stuff so fast. But I guess it was later at night too. When that happened, it was later at night. When they closed out, they were getting ready to close that, down for the day, but still, there was a little kid running around there, which I'm just that's how kids get kidnapped. I see this all the time. I see parents just letting their kids just run around on their own and all that. That's how they get kidnapped, but I don't know, but yeah, I did not have the best life with Party City, but But besides that, though, I still wouldn't mind seeing them come back. I wouldn't mind seeing them coming back. Like, I definitely think, though, I would like to, well, I've heard they're coming back, too. Like, but I guess unlike Toys R Us and Ames, this one I think has just been, like, I don't think it's actually happened yet, but they did keep, like, some stores open, like in California. There's, like, one that's open still, and then they also kept them. I don't know if they kept any in Canada open or not, but from what I could gather, they closed all of them down like they did with Toys R Us. So I don't know, but yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing the store coming back. Like I said, besides what happened, like, I definitely think that was bogus. That should have not happened. And I mean, to be fair, yeah, they were going out of business. And I was trying to preserve some memories, because I don't see anybody showing the balloons off, so I wanted to do that, but that's probably how I got busted recording it, but still, I'm like, they're going out of business, and all that, so I wanted to record it, but apparently they are coming back, but I don't know, like, I don't know, like, how, like, that'll go and all that, but I don't know, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing Party City coming back. I wouldn't mind seeing that either, like, because Party City, though, Party City is definitely, like, it was an interesting store that had, like, different products there and all that. It's pretty nice. Now, people were saying it's too expensive there. I never really had a problem with it being expensive. I do notice that the products are kind of cheaply made, because I bought a crown there and all that, and the pieces were falling off. I think I brought that up when I was showing off my Party City stuff, but yeah, there is that, but yeah, I actually was gonna get me a Party City gift card, too, because I actually had that on my list. Unfortunately, could not get it, so I might have to, I don't know, like, depending on how like, wide it'll be spread, I might have to, like, get it online, I don't know. The problem is that buying gift cards online, they tend to be more expensive. But that's actually how I keep the store names alive, but there's, like, a couple different gift cards. I was wanting the one with the colorful sign on it, like this here, as you guys see. But, yeah, I don't know exactly why Party City declined. I'm guessing maybe competition as well, like Walmart and all that. I don't think Amazon was part of this. It definitely wasn't part of Ames, because, like I said, Ames went out of business in 2002. That was before Amazon was pretty big. I mean, yeah, they were growing, but, like, they still weren't, like, super big. But I think it was more so, like, like I said, Walmart and Target, you could buy the stuff there, like. That's the thing, like Toys R Us, though, I feel like Party City felt more unique. It's like a little party store, It was pretty cool to have that, but I think, though, if they come back, they probably need to sell other products, too, besides, like, trying to sell some stuff that you can only get at that store, that would be kind of nice, I mean, that would be better than, like, that would be better than, like, like I said, trying to sell products you could get, like, at Walmart or something. Which, speaking of which, actually, Party City, the one in Columbia, was actually right over by a Walmart. I think it was actually right next to a Walmart. I can't remember. It was like combined with, like, there was even a Dollar Tree next to it, too. So, like, yeah, that location, I'm surprised, survived as long as it did. I mean, it didn't have the best reviews, too. I was reading the reviews. They weren't really the greatest either, so. But that was the closest one I could go to and record, so that's why I went to that one, but yeah, that just means I have to be more careful when I record places, but I usually record them if they're going out of business, or if I never recorded them before, but I pretty much recorded a good chunk of the stores. But yeah, the Walmart in this location was pretty big, too. Like, it's freaking huge. Like, it's like the one in Jeff, but it's like double the size. Like, I think it's one of those super Walmarts. I hear they don't use the word super anymore, which is kind of weird, but that's what it was. I think it's considered a super Walmart, but I don't know. Or was it Target? I heard them. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if there's really much else I can say about it. Like I said, I don't know the whole downfall of the store, but like I said, I would like for it to come back, despite all the problems I had with it. But anywho, let's go on to the next one. Jo-Ann Fabrics is next. Now, ironically, the green here, so I was doing the colors of the rainbow, and I just happened to add Jo-Ann Fabrics here. I wasn't even tempted to do it, but I was like, I was actually already had it clicked, and I was like, oh yeah, it's green as well. So I guess that's what a coincidence is, right? Sorry too if I sound funny. I still have a cold. Like it's getting better, but it's still not great. Like I still got drainage in my throat. So sorry about that. But I really wanted to make this video for you guys. But I wanted to make it for a while. But and I said everything's gonna be kind of crazy at the end of the month because my dad's girlfriend's moving in. So yeah. But yeah, next up is Jo-Ann Fabrics. Now, Jo-Ann Fabrics, though, I will say, it's another store I wouldn't mind seeing come back. Now, Jo-Ann Fabrics, though, like these other stores, it kind of sold, like, one thing, and that is, like, it sold, like, a lot of fabric stuff and all that. But unlike Party City, where I think the prices were reasonable, freaking Jo-Ann Fabrics, the crap was really expensive. Like, yeah, it was very expensive. Like Jo-Ann Fabrics is a very expensive store. Yeah, they are very expensive. And that's the thing, though. They're just really expensive store. I mean, they're not, like, super expensive, but I'm like, a lot of their products, even when they were going out of business, they were freaking expensive. Now, unlike Party City, I was able to get recorded footage of it without having a problem. Now, I think I recorded them before they closed them all that, because they were still getting stuff, in, so sorry, jeez, I hate this cold. Sorry about that. Like I said, it's getting better, but it's still not great. But yeah, like I said, Jo-Ann Fabrics, though, I did record it. Because I think I recorded it the day they announced they were going out of business. But ironically, Jo-Ann Fabrics, though, they went out of business and all. Well, this one went out of business, but they were still in business. But I guess they couldn't find a buyer, so they decided to close all the stores down. So they decided to close all of them down. But that was literally like a week afterwards. But they were already closing this one down. So, but Jo-Ann Fabrics. So as soon as they announced they were closing it down, now that they're like apparently guests coming back too. They've actually found a buyer or something. I'm like, that's kind of weird. So they announced they were going out of business and are closing all the stores down because they couldn't find a buyer, and now they have a buyer. So I don't know, maybe they had a buyer, and then maybe they just wanted to cut costs and cut everybody out of a job. Which again, I'm just like, that's kind of frustrating, like for the employees. Because, they closed all the stores down and all that, cut people out of a job. But now they're suddenly gonna, I don't know if they're gonna bring the stores back or what. So I don't know if this one's actually gonna come back or what. I do know they have a buyer, so the products will still be there. But I don't know if they'll actually be, if Jo-Ann Fabrics will actually be, like if Jo-Ann Fabrics is actually going to, open stores back up or not. But, I don't know. I don't think they'll open up in Jeff, though. Because Jeff, they probably open up in locations that are more bigger. Honestly, though, the one in Jeff, though, that's the thing, though. It was one of those stores. It was in the mall, but, like, you couldn't, enter the mall to go get it. Apparently, you could go through the fire exit and go that way, but I'm like, why the hell is the damn fire exit on, like, the inside? Well, I guess to be fair, I guess maybe the door, like, maybe people could go out that way. I don't know, but like the fire exit was on the inside of the door, so people wouldn't really know to go, to go like out that direction. I don't know. It was kind of weird, but I don't know why they closed it off in the mall at all. Like I've said, our mall's not doing the best. Like, it's making some very stupid decisions and all, and I may even do a re-review on it, too. I don't know. I mean, I did a video showing off the photos of the older mall, so I don't remember if I ever uploaded it or not, but, like, some older footage of it and all that. But I don't know if I might do a review on it still, I don't know. I'll have to figure that out, but it's definitely not got the best management. Like, I think it could do very well, but like I said, the management's not the best at the mall. Even people who visit the mall on YouTube have talked about how bad it's got, and yeah, it's definitely not doing very well. I don't think it's gonna shut down like the mall in Chesterfield, because there's not really a whole lot of competition to put it out of business, but it definitely has a problem where, like, it'll close stores down and open them back up because, the rent's too high and all that, And some of these places are just going out of business, but, yeah, Joann Fabrics, though, is, like I said, Joann Fabrics is one of those stores that was at the mall, but like I said, though, they weren't, like I said, they were kind of expensive and all that, but I still wouldn't mind, I said, them to probably come back to, because it'd be nice to have another place to buy, like, sewing and fabric and all that, but they definitely need to lower their prices, because their prices are too expensive. I had somebody, on one of the comments, I don't remember what video this was, or if it was mine, but one person was getting pissed off at me, because I was criticizing Joann Fabrics. I'm like, yeah, that it is their fault why they closed down, because they were kind of expensive, I'm like, some people just can't take criticism, I guess. I'm just like, I don't care. I mean, that's my thoughts, and I think that's probably why they went out of business. But if they're opening stores back up, maybe that means they might well, I guess I don't know if they're actually opening stores back up, but they have been bought out by another brand. But I don't remember who it was that bought them out, but I don't know if it was Big Lots. I can't remember. Like, somebody bought them out, but hopefully, I said they'll come back, and maybe their prices will be lower. But I don't know. But I am happy to see them kind of come back too. Next up, we have this store, which I think is called Rue 21 or whatever the heck that is, which rhymes with blue, which is also this color, which I actually was not even thinking about at all. Unlike Joann Fabrics, I was not thinking about that at all until this. Another weird coincidence, but I guess unlike Joann Fabrics, this is not really the color blue, but it does rhyme with blue, so I have no idea what the Rue 21 means. All it sounds like here is it sounds like a website and all that I've heard about. Yeah, I've seen people talk about this website, and I had my curiosity, and yeah, it's a very weird website. It's called a Rule 34, and all that. I mean, this is not like the same, but it's very close to it. But yeah, it's a very weird website, and people are kind of just like not very the biggest fan of it. But I'm like, like, you don't have to use the website. I mean, I'm not using the website, but I heard people talking about it, and this is a while back, though. Somebody, like, pointed it out on my channel, and I was like, I hate to check it, but I have my morbid curiosity, you know, I checked it out, and, yeah, but yeah, that's just kind of what this reminds me of. I think I did a video on this, too, where, like, I did get a gift card from here, but I think I did a video also talking about, or like, showing off what I got at the store. But because they went out of business, I wasn't able to go back. But I don't think I ever uploaded that video on YouTube either, so I don't know. But this is another store that's coming back. This one, though, I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, like, this is one of those stores, the first actually on this list, where I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it would be nice to have a clothing store come back, because clothing stores are not doing very good either. And, like, if you go to, like Walmart or Target, they don't have a lot of options, you know? So, like, having these stores, you know, in business would be kind of nice. You know, it would be nice to have these in business. But, like I said, they went out of... They sadly, closed all their locations down. However, they actually, unlike Joann Fabrics, I do know that they are still around, because apparently somebody else bought them out. I don't remember who it was, but somebody bought them out. I looked them up and kind of forgot, but it's not really a recognizable company, so they're still around. I don't know if they're in the U.S. anymore, but I heard they were bought out and all that, so at least they were saved. But it is sad to see clothing stores or another store thing that's going out of business. And that's the thing with clothing stores. You can't really just shop online. I mean, you can shop online. The problem is with shopping online with clothes. Clothes are stuff you need. And if you order something online and it ends up being wrong, you have to ship it back. And you could be waiting for days for it to come back. Or, or I guess it wouldn't be days, but it'd be like or I guess it'd be a couple of days. You could be waiting for it to come back and all that. I'm just like, that's why it's nice to have these stores to actually go in and try them on, you know. But they're coming back too, is what I've heard. Their stores around now. I don't know if they're opening any more stores up or not, but I do know their brand is saved, so that's good. I wish somebody could go in and save like JCPenney's and Kohl's and all that too. Because Kohl's is not doing well at all. Kohl's, like, in Jeff, like, there's actually not, JCPenney's is in the mall, but, like, Kohl's is, like, got, like, I always see their parking lot is always so empty and all that. It really sucks. And I actually shop there sometimes. I do shop at Kohl's sometimes. I actually bought me a hungry caterpillar creature there. It was pretty nice, but yeah, they went out of business though. They're not went out of business. I mean, they're closing a lot of their stores. That is what I meant to say. Like, they're not out of business yet, but like, I hope maybe they could be saved too, because I'm like, in today's world, like, I think we do need more retail stores, especially like clothing stores, because you can't just go online and buy that stuff. You know, so yeah, but I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. I'm not very familiar with this store, so I don't know really. I've only been in there a couple times, so I can't really say. The staff in there were nice, but I can't really say much else because, again, they're not really. They closed them down and all that, and like I said, they're still in business, but they're not really around too much. So this one, I'm not sure if it needs to come back or not. Especially when you have bigger stores like you have bigger stores like JCPenney's and Kohl's and all that, but I don't know. Let's go on to the next one, though. Next up is the big one here. Big Lots. Pun aside, Big Lots is the big one here. It's the not only the name itself, but like also apparently Big Lots is also the well-known one that's coming back. Yeah, they're coming back. Apparently, like Toys R Us. You know, this is the one I was talking about. Like that they closed all their locations down and now they're opening them back up. But unlike Toys R Us, I think Big Lots actually closed all their stores down. I don't know if they had any in Canada too or not, but I think they closed all of them down. So they closed them all down and now they're coming back from the dead. Which I'm like, why do they need to close them all down? Like, I guess to maybe to reset everything in the stores, but I'm like, wouldn't it be easier just to keep some locations open or not? And then close some of them down? I don't know, it just seems kind of weird. Yeah, Big Lots, though. This picture actually here is actually a former Best Buy, you know, which went out of business too, you know, like, you know, in the pandemic and all that, but this Big Lots took over and it only lasted, like, I think a year and a half or so, and then it closed down as well. I think this is before they announced they were closing them all down as well, so like Joann Fabrics. This is before they announced they were closing all their locations down, but it wasn't really like a super interesting store. I mean, it had some stuff in it, but like, it was kind of like, it kind of reminded me a little bit of, kind of like a dollar store a little bit, like it had a little bit of everything. So I guess in a way it's kind of like Walmart, but it didn't sell a lot of groceries and all that. It just sold, like, I think it sold maybe some groceries, but like, it didn't really sell any groceries. So it wasn't like, you know, Kmart, Target, or Walmart, or like Ames by the looks of it. You know, so, but Big Lots is another store where I'm like, I mean, I'm happy it's coming back, but I don't know if there was really a need for it, but I mean, I'm happy it's coming back because it's more retail stores, but like, and I'm not complaining, but I'm just like, I guess one of those where I'm just like, you know, I mean, like good for them, you know, that like, they're coming back. Like, I'm not really, I'm not like super excited that they're coming back, but I'm happy for them, you know, I'm happy that they're coming back from the dead. But I don't know where all they're opening all their locations up. I don't think they're opening any up in Missouri that I'm aware of. So, I mean, there won't be any that's opening up in Missouri. Not even St. Louis. I think St. Louis is known to be one of the most popular you know, cities in the United States, you know. So I figured it'd be a Big Lots that would open up at least there. But honestly, St. Louis, though, I will say, it definitely has some crime issues and all that in it, but it is definitely a very well-known, you know, state. I mean, city, you know, in the U.S. And actually, that's where some of these stores. That's actually where like some of these stores that went out of business, you know, actually like they went out of business and all that, like. Yeah, that's where they last were at before they closed them all. I mean, Kmart, I think, like, because I think Kmart in St. Louis survived a couple more years after the one in Jeff closed. You know, so when Jeff closed, you know, Sears and Kmart were both still in, you know, St. Louis. So there's that. But yeah, I don't know, but. Besides that, though, like I said, I mean, I don't mind them coming back, but like I said, there's just nothing, like, super special about them but I mean, to be fair, I've only been in there a handful of times, but I've been in there more than the last store I've talked about, which was, Rue, you know, 21, you know. I really hope I'm not butchering that name, but that's how I pronounce it, like, Blue, you know, Rue. But, I don't have a lot else to say about this store, but there is one more on this list, one more I want to talk about before I, you know, end the video off talking about my thoughts on this stuff as a whole, and the memories we have with these stores. So the last one we have is the Circuit City. So Circuit City, So Circuit City is yet another store that sadly went out of business. But unlike Ames, Circuit City, went out of business later on. So people might have some better footage and all that of the store where it's not as blurry looking and all that. Because there are some cameras, like I talked about, like the people who recorded the McDonald's. They took a trip to McDonald's in the 80s, and then several years later went to the same one. They had pretty good footage there, But a lot of times, like at Ames, I showed off, the footage is not the best. Now, Circuit City, though, was one of those stores that went out of business in 2009. They went out of business. So they actually went out of business, I think that was around, there was actually a very, kind of like now, a lot of stores kind of went out of business then, because of some, financial problems with the U.S. and all that. So they went out of business. But Circuit City, actually, there was actually one in Columbia. And actually, if you look on Google Maps, you can actually find it. Because that's the thing, though, it was around that time. Unfortunately, I don't know if you can find any that have if there's any footage of any of them, with the pictures of the building without looking them up on Google. But because I don't think you can go on maps, but I don't know. I mean, there might be some of these stores were out of business and just sit there abandoned, So who knows? But Circuit City, though, is an interesting one because it was actually an electronics store. It wasn't the last of the electronics because there were still Fry's Electronics. Apparently, they were still in business. I didn't even know they survived as long as they did, but apparently they went out of business. Like Fry's Electronics, they closed their doors down, and they sadly closed their doors down. I think actually around the pandemic, they closed their doors down. I don't remember if they closed it down before that or not, but I think they closed their doors down in 2020 when COVID hit. That was their final nail in the coffin. But it's just kind of sad, it's sad because I also went and got footage of this eater because they closed out a few years before I got my first recorded footage of video stuff. But like I said too, but Circuit City, though, also like I said, they closed them down because they were having some financial problems. But there is talk that they're also gonna come back. Actually, I think they have a website too. So they actually have a website that's still open too. But yeah, they have a website that's still open too. So apparently they're still in business, or they're back in business, but I know there's talk that they actually might open locations up again too, which will be cool if they do that. Because right now, all we have left, I think, is Best Buy. And Best Buy, sadly, ain't doing very good either. Which is a shame, because I really like Best Buy. I don't always go in there and buy stuff, but when I do, it's very nice. And I mean, Best Buy, it's got that vibe to it, it's very... That's why it sucks when the one Jeff closed, because that's the problem with Jefferson City. There are a lot of stores that are going out of business or that close down and stay open somewhere else. So like Jefferson City used to have a bunch of different places to go. Like they were all kind of different, Like even fast food places. Like there was like seafood places, chicken places, pasta places. Now a lot of it's just chicken and Mexican places. But back in the day, there was different stuff, But a lot of these companies, went out of business and closed their stores down, and all that. So yeah, it just kind of sucks. But like I said too, that Circuit City, though, if it could come back though too, that would be nice. Because I like to see Circuit City come back, because I like to see some more electronic stores. Like, you guys have no idea how hard it is to freaking find people that can fix crap anymore, too. Like, I hate that. That's another thing that I hate about modern Walmart, too. Modern Walmart, I think Target's like this, too. they will not fix your shit anymore. So if you have some, technology problems, well, like you have to go to the actual phone store you go to, or like, if that phone store's closed down, you're fucking screwed. That's kind of how it goes with the iPads too. Like, the closest iPad store for me is like a couple hours away. So like if AT&T goes out of business or they close some other locations down, then I'm pretty much screwed. And that's just stupid. I'm like I don't understand that. Like, I don't understand why you have to have a specific, phone store to like, or a specific, product, your plan with somebody to like go to a store. Like, why does it matter what fucking store I go to? I'm still giving you guys my money. I don't understand why I can't go to a specific store. They're like, well, then I can't buy their products. Well, I mean, again, I'm not gonna buy a phone every fucking year. I actually don't even want to buy a phone anymore. I'm like, I got this newer phone and I have some issues with it. Like, I like it, but I have some issues with it, And that's kind of like how this, that's how that is. But that's why places like Best Buy and all that were very nice. They are electronic stores, so they dealt with that kind of stuff. But that's a problem too. I don't know if like Circuit City comes back. Will they actually, fix this stuff or not? I don't know. But it still would be nice to have, another electronic store to go to, not besides Best Buy. Because, like I said, Best Buy is not doing very good, But that's pretty much all I think I have to say. These are all the stores that are either rumored to come back, have confirmed to come back, or are actually opening stores back up. So we can take a look back at all these stores that are coming back and some that are not coming back. And I kind of want to have a little word about this. It's very nice, too, to have recordings of this stuff, too. See, people get pissed off at people for recording their stores. But I'm like, that's kind of why people record the stuff, because they want to have memories of places so they go out of business. That's how I was at Party City. Party City was closing their stores down. I wanted a video of a Party City before they went out of business. And that's why, I went to Party, City and did that. I also bought some stuff there too, but that's kind of the problem there. And people get kind of upset about doing that stuff, but some people are like, I think some people say too, like, well, people don't want to be recorded and all that, but I'm like, that's true, but like I guarantee, like, a lot of these news outlets, a lot of people get freaking recorded anyway, so I'm like, what does it matter, And people can make careers off of this stuff too, like, they can, like, make historical stuff off this stuff, because, like I said, a lot of these stores are no longer in business. Some of them that were in business were not as well known. Like Jefferson City, we had Hastings. Hastings was not as well known as other movie stores, but it was a movie store and they went out of business. Now they were more like Slackers and V-Stock, and they sold a little bit of everything, but they still had a lot of movies. And they went out of business too. And that's why it's very important to have video footage of it. And that's why I get upset when people get, critical about you recording the stores. Because then you try to ask why you can't do it, they don't give you a reason. Or they, like I said, they'll try, or like I've talked about before about the Chesterfield Mall, or something like that, where like, I had a manager there, or somebody there, like, getting pissed off at me and me recording something, and then like, and tell me not to record, and like tell me I need to talk to somebody, and I go to ask him where to find these people, and then like he doesn't say anything. Like, it'd be different if like people like that would say they don't know, but like he said he was refusing to tell me that, which makes me feel like he just didn't want me to record at all. And that's the problem too. Like, that's the problem. Like I said, people are gonna record stuff. And if people don't like it, well, there's a reason why people do it, because they want to preserve the memories before stores go out of business. Because otherwise, we have stores like Ames and all that, like, that have gone out of business years ago, and there's not really a lot of footage of it anymore, you know? Because back then, too, there was also VHS tapes, too. So, like, a lot of stuff was put on VHSs and other tapes. So a lot of that stuff could be corrupted or lost in time, you know? That's why, like I said, that's why people do it. That's why I do it, you know? I don't do it I don't record people and all. I do it because memory purposes. Same with other people, you know? And like I said, if people get upset at me about it, well, I'm just like, I'm trying to give out memories because these places are closing down. But, yeah, I don't know. But like I said, too, it's just like I said, just don't get upset at people if you guys have rules, that's fine, but, don't, explain the rules to people, don't just shit on them and all that and try to threaten them, actually, give people a reason to, why they can't do something, or if they're actually going out of business, I would suggest letting them record something, you know? Because that way people can keep the memories, you know? But people, too, apparently are saying something about competition, too. I read about thoughts on that, too. Apparently people recording stuff to create competition for stores. But I'm like, as you're buying shit at the stores, you're going in the stores and you can see stuff in there. So, how can you create competition? Why are they worried about creating competition when you could go into the damn store and actually see the store, you know? They could just take ideas that way. They don't need a fucking camera to do that, you know? I don't know. The whole thing is just ridiculous, but like I said, that's just my little rant on there. But I am happy that these stores are making a comeback, and I do hope we see more of this in the future. I also hope we see more of just stores in general coming back. I want to see more stores, come back from the dead. Even Kmart. I would love to see Kmart get sold off to somebody else, and instead of just letting it die like this, or Sears or something, you know? Even if, some of these stores don't really need to come back, I still wouldn't mind seeing some competition. I also would like to see, new stores come back, too. Because that's the problem, too. Some of these stores that are, family-owned, I've had some issues applying for jobs there because they won't accept certain kind of people, race or gender or something. I talked about that with, the restaurant in Fulton, the Fulton Diner. Or, some of these stores are closed. They have weird hours or closed down for, Sundays and Mondays, at Fulton. So it's just weird hours, so you can't go to these stores whenever you want. That's why I like to have chains like these two, you know? So we don't have to worry about that stuff. But I do feel like we're going to live in a world where there's probably going to be more and more of this stuff. Where it's just going to be more and more, just family-owned, stores and less of these chains. But I wouldn't mind seeing some more chains come back. I wouldn't mind. There was even a chain that was starting called, Here Today. Sadly, they didn't last very long either. I didn't get any footage of it because they closed all the stores down, but there was a store called Here Today that sadly went out of business too. But that's the thing though, it's nice to see people trying to make, chains and all that too, but I don't know. But that's all I have to say here. I'm gonna go ahead and let things go from here. This video is actually longer than I thought it was gonna be, but I just had a lot to say in this video. Anywho, bye-bye.